Hey Deckers, the Immortals of Aveum is officially unsupported on the Steam Deck. However, I have a very different opinion on that matter. Unfortunately, through the EA app, the performance is much worse than the Steam version, so if you are wanting to play this, I do recommend the Steam version. However, it will set you back around £50, which means you won't be able to make use of that EA app subscription if you have it. Which is a shame because this is a beautiful looking game, and I would say that this is likely a next generation game, really pushing the boundaries of graphics and PC hardware. Now, this is no joke that this ruins a lot of PCs, and I'll show you that in a little bit. However, I am very impressed with how well this can run on the Steam Deck under the right settings. However, in some of the early footage with FSR quality, even on some of the low settings, we really do get some jarring experiences with the FPS all over the place and some serious stutter. And this is where I did tweak my settings a little bit later, which made this much more stable. But for the most part, around the 30 frames per second, even with it dipping into the mid-20s, didn't feel absolutely horrendous as it did in other games. And this isn't limited to the Steam Deck. This obviously has some performance issues in the game itself, as you'll see here on my RTX 3080 PC, which is over 2 years old and probably needs some RAM and apparently a CPU upgrade according to the settings in here. But with DLSS on quality at 1440p and all low settings, it's pretty much at the limit for the CPU, well under on the GPU front. So this is a very CPU bound game. As you'll see as I run through the same section, I'm getting a lot of frame stutter here as well, and for some reason my Afterburner overlay was not working with the EA app version here. But running locally with the EA app version was really stuttery, and the performance really did not feel great. Even with all those low settings, it looks fantastic, but the performance really didn't feel very good. Although this does seem to flatten out a little bit later, as you'll see as well on the Steam Deck. So my best settings for this to run on the Steam Deck is pretty much all low, but randomly having the mesh quality at ultra, everything else on low with light shafts and local exposure off, and with the AMD FSR2 under display on performance. Now you can put this on balanced and quality a little bit later, although you will get some hefty spikes, which I'll also show. But on FSR2 performance, we will get very minor dips here and there, especially in some big fights. With it uncapped, it will then bounce around between the 30 and 50 mark, depending on what's going on. And you'll see that we are up into the 26 watt range as well. So you're only going to get around an hour and a half to 2 hours on this one at the absolute most. And it does run fairly hot, but at least it is playable. Now, it doesn't do it justice if you're watching this on a bigger screen, so make sure you do shrink this down as it is only an 800p image. But I can't tell you how good this actually looks on the Steam Deck. Even with that AMD FSR2 performance mode, I really was quite surprised at how good it was. Especially with some of the bigger scenes here, keeping it uncapped did give me a bit of a jarring experience, but if I cap the Steam Deck at 30 and have the allow tearing option on as well, this actually became extremely stable. I was really surprised at just how good this felt, and it did also bring that wattage down as well to around the 24-25 mark quite a lot. So it really did help that battery and performance a little bit as well. As I said, you can push it up to balanced with that 30 frames per second, and although you don't notice it as much in the actual gameplay, if you do look at the FPS, even on balance mode, it does still dip down into that mid 20 FPS range. So if you do want to keep it a bit more stable, then I would recommend keeping this on the FSR balance mode. You can probably bring that mesh quality down a little bit if you want to bring the temperature down a little bit more as well. But I did find with that ultra mesh quality, it just balanced out the FSR a little bit as well. You'll see here the FSR performance on the huge howler fight. It really was looking fantastic. Although we do still get a couple of minor dips here and there. It's usually during scenes that either have slowdown effects as well or huge braking effects. So you're not really going to notice those dips very much. I will say it again, I was very surprised at just how well this was running on the Steam Deck at 30 cap, considering how demanding this game is, and it really is a next-gen title. I wasn't expecting to like this game very much because of its kind of background, and it looking very similar to Forspoken. However, this does seem to do things right, where Forspoken got it quite wrong. So I do find the performance of this and the actual gameplay quality and combat mechanics are much better than those of Forspoken, and I do want to be playing this a lot more. And with it performing this well from the Steam version, I will likely continue it there. Let us know in the comments below if you're going to be picking this one up or whether you'll be waiting for some more optimizations. And of course, we will keep our eye out on the channel and update you when we can. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.